In the world of boxing, few scandals have left as lasting an impact as Antonio Margarito's glove-loading controversy. Margarito, once a formidable welterweight champion, is now often regarded as the dirtiest boxer of the modern era. His crime was not just a technical foul, but a serious infraction that could have led to criminal charges, adding a dangerous layer to a sport already fraught with risk. The incident that sealed Margarito's reputation occurred before his fight against Shane Mosley in 2009. As Mosley's trainer, Nazim Richardson, observed Margarito's hand wraps being applied, he noticed something suspicious: a hardened substance later identified as plaster of Paris, which hardens when moistened, was inserted into the wraps.
So I checked the pad, and when I checked the pad, it felt hard. So then the commissioner felt it. He said, that feels pretty hard. The commissioner flipped it open, and a block fell out of it.
We were all asking ourselves, what happened? What is it?
This discovery led to Margarito's hands being rewrapped, and he went on to lose the fight decisively.
Margarito is getting hit flush with every right hand. There's another one. There's a big left hook. Why not stop it now? And Shane Mosley has annihilated Antonio Margarito.
Margarito claimed innocence, stating that he was unaware his trainer, Javier Capetillo, had inserted the illegal material. However, many in the boxing community were skeptical, especially given the brutal nature of his previous victories. One fight that raised eyebrows was his bout against Miguel Cotto, where Cotto suffered severe facial injuries. Many speculated that Margarito might have used loaded gloves in that fight as well, though he vehemently denied it.
Yo te gané bien. ¿Eso no está roto ahí? ¿Cuál roto? Esa es una foto. Mira los vendajes. Los vendajes se los llevaron. Los vendajes se los llevaron. Los vendajes los tienen. Eso no tenía el vendaje. Entonces, mira los vendajes en vivo. El mismo vendaje que te quitaron. De Mosley tenía el mismo.
The aftermath of the scandal saw Margarito's career take a significant hit. After being caught, he was never the same fighter. His punching power, once feared by opponents, seemed to vanish. He failed to score a single knockout in his subsequent fights, leading many to wonder how often he had cheated in the past. The question of how many times Margarito got away with loading his gloves remains a topic of debate, casting a shadow over his achievements in the ring.
This guy was cheating. He was fighting with a cast inside his glove.
Margarito's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of cheating in sports and the lasting impact it can have on a career and legacy. Despite his denials, the glove-loading scandal has forever tainted his reputation, making him a symbol of the darker side of boxing. Andrew Golota.
Here is Andrew Golota.
Andrew Golota was a Polish boxer known for his powerful punches and strong presence in the ring. He had a promising career ahead of him, but it was often overshadowed by controversy due to his involvement in several dirty fights. One of the most notable incidents involving Golota was his fight against Riddick Bowe in 1996. During the bout, Golota was disqualified for repeatedly hitting Bowe below the belt.
With that kind of experienced fighter.
Golota with a solid low blow and then missed it. Another low blow. This is a bad one. And Wayne Kelly is going to have to give Bowe a timeout. There it is. George, can Bowe come back from that? He's done too little of that in this round. Golota starting to fall in love with his ability to hammer Bowe up. That's the second point deducted from the scorecards against Golota. Hammering it. There was another low blow. Down goes Bowe, and that's it.
That's it. Great.
It's a disqualification.
It's time to someone.
This behavior led to a heated confrontation outside the ring, with both fighters and their teams getting into a brawl. The tension was high, and it marked a turning point in Golota's career, as his actions began to draw more attention than his skills. Golota faced similar issues in his rematch with Bowe later that year. Again, he was disqualified for low blows, which further tarnished his reputation in the boxing world.
Vicious right-hand uppercut, the kind that he couldn't land in the first fight.
Only Golota is
Low blows by Golota, and it...
semi-conscious.
Low blows, and down goes Bowe again.
Yeah, that's it.
Cotton is not thinking disqualification.
Golota may be the best fighter in the world today who can't win a fight honestly.
These incidents made it clear that Golota struggled with controlling his aggression in the ring, often crossing the line into dirty tactics. Despite these setbacks, Golota continued to fight, but his career was often overshadowed by his tendency to engage in dirty tactics. His actions led to multiple disqualifications and fines, impacting his ability to reach his full potential as a boxer. Fans and critics alike began to view him more as a fighter with a bad reputation rather than a skilled boxer. In summary, Andrew Golota's boxing career was marked by both his physical strength and his propensity for dirty fighting, which ultimately led to disqualifications and a complicated legacy in the sport. Luis Resto. Luis Resto was a boxer from Puerto Rico who had a promising career in the 1980s. However, his story took a turn when he faced Billy Collins Jr. in a fight on June 16, 1983. Resto was known for his aggressive style, but this particular fight became infamous for reasons beyond his usual tactics. During the bout, Resto's trainer, Panama Lewis, made a critical mistake. He removed the padding from Resto's gloves, which is against the rules. This meant that Resto was essentially punching Collins with bare fists, minus the protective cushioning that gloves are supposed to provide. The fight ended with Collins suffering severe injuries, including a detached retina that left him partially blind and ended his boxing career. After the fight, officials discovered the tampered gloves, leading to Resto's disqualification and a ban from boxing. Resto and his trainer were both penalized for their actions.
And his padding had all been, it was those old style boxing gloves. The padding had all been pushed back, and it was all like almost raw knuckle.
Resto was banned from boxing for life, and Lewis was also banned, though he later had his license reinstated in some jurisdictions. The incident marked a sad end to Resto's career and highlighted the importance of fair play and safety in sports. Sandy Sadler. Sandy Sadler was a boxer with a reputation that preceded him, not just for his formidable skills in the ring, but also for his questionable tactics. While he often protested against accusations of being a dirty fighter, those who witnessed his fights knew better. Sadler generally operated within the rules, but when he felt his opponent had crossed a line, all bets were off. His infamous series against Willie Pep is a testament to this, with their final bout remaining one of the dirtiest fights in boxing history.
Get out of there, Pep. Don't let this guy grab you or you'll never last. Look at him heel again. Here they go again. This is right up Sadler's alley. His arms are so long he can ruin Pep inside. That was low, and it was no accident. Look at this. It's a trade, like being a bricklayer. Lose your temper, and you lose the fight.
Sadler's style was as much about physical intimidation as it was about technical skill. He was a master of clinch fighting, often using his powerful left hook to initiate a clinch and then unleashing a flurry of punches that left his opponents battered. His tactics were not just about winning, they were about dominating and demoralizing his opponents. Despite his protests, Sadler's actions in the ring spoke louder than words, earning him a reputation as one of the toughest and most unorthodox fighters of his time. James Toney. James Toney was a well-known boxer who had a successful career in the ring. He was known for his defensive style, which often frustrated his opponents. However, Toney was also involved in some controversies during his fights. One of the most notable incidents happened during his fight against John Ruiz in 2005.
James, lights out, Tony!
Punches, more active. JT, step 6, Ruiz 15 out of 52, Toney 12 out of 29. Combinations by Toney.
Toney tested positive for steroids after the fight, which led to his disqualification and a suspension. This incident raised questions about his integrity and sportsmanship. Toney was also known for being involved in some rough fights. He had a reputation for using tactics that some considered dirty, like holding on to his opponents or hitting them after the bell. While these actions didn't always result in disqualifications, they often led to warnings from the referees. Despite these controversies, Tony remained a respected figure in the boxing world. He was known for his skill and resilience in the ring, and many fans admired his ability to adapt to different fighting styles. Tony's career was marked by both achievements and setbacks. He won several championships and fought against some of the toughest opponents in the sport. However, his involvement in controversies sometimes overshadowed his accomplishments. Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins was a master of the dark arts in boxing, weaving illegal and borderline illegal techniques seamlessly into his fighting style. Unlike many other fighters who resorted to dirty tactics out of desperation or frustration, Hopkins used them as a calculated strategy to gain a mental edge over his opponents. He believed that by pushing the limits of what was allowed in the ring and getting away with it, he could unsettle his adversaries and disrupt their focus. Hopkins was incredibly skilled at executing these tactics without drawing the ire of the referees. He rarely received penalties for his actions, and despite his reputation for dirty fighting, he never lost a fight by disqualification. This ability to operate in the gray areas of the sport was a testament to his cunning and experience. Hopkins would often use the referee's blind spot to his advantage, employing tactics like holding his opponent's wrist and landing short elbows and shoulder strikes without being penalized 12. His approach was not just about winning by any means necessary, it was about outsmarting his opponents both physically and mentally. Hopkins was a chess player in the ring, always looking for ways to exploit his opponent's weaknesses and gain an advantage. His opponents often found themselves frustrated and off balance, unable to cope with the combination of Hopkins's technical skill and his willingness to bend the rules. This unique blend of skill and cunning made Hopkins one of the most formidable opponents in the sport. Eusebio Pedroza. In the rough-and-tumble world of boxing, there are fighters who push the limits of what's acceptable in the ring. One such fighter was notorious for his cunning and willingness to bend the rules. His arsenal of dirty tactics included kidney punches, elbows, and dirty boxing, often catching opponents off guard. He also had a habit of hitting his opponents after the bell, a move that could unsettle even the toughest opponents. This fighter's unorthodox approach to boxing allowed him to achieve remarkable success, pulling off 19 successful title defenses. His ability to exploit the gray areas of the sport made him a formidable opponent, one who could outmaneuver his foes both physically and mentally. Despite the controversy surrounding his methods, he remained a force to be reckoned with in the ring, always looking for ways to gain an edge over his opponents. Ad Wolgast. Ad Wolgast, affectionately known as the Michigan Wildcat, was a formidable figure in the early 20th century boxing scene. Born on February 8, 1888, in Cadillac, Michigan, Wolgast's journey to becoming a world champion was marked by his relentless determination and ferocious fighting style. Wolgast's career began in 1906, and he quickly gained recognition for his aggressive approach to boxing. He was known for his crippling left hook and ferocious body attacks, which earned him a reputation as a relentless brawler. His rise to fame was swift, culminating in his victory over Battling Nelson on February 22, 1910, in a grueling 40-round bout that secured him the world lightweight title.
As round one gets underway, it's Battling Nelson, the taller fighter with back to camera. Wolgast is really taking a beating. Continue. Ad Wolgast becomes the lightweight champion of the world, February 22nd, 1910.
During his reign as champion, Wolgast defended his title 5 times, facing notable opponents like Frankie Burns and Owen Moran. One of his most infamous fights was against Mexican Joe Rivers in 1912, which ended in a double knockdown. Despite trailing on points, Wolgast managed to secure the win after Rivers was counted out. Wolgast's career was not without controversy, however. He was known for his tendency to target his opponent's groins, leading to several disqualifications. This behavior earned him a reputation as one of the dirtiest fighters of his era. Fritzie Zivic. Fritzie Zivic, a name synonymous with the darker side of boxing, was a fighter known more for his cunning and dirty tactics than his championship titles. In an era where corruption was rampant and referees often turned a blind eye, Zivic thrived by using every trick in the book to outmaneuver his opponents. His arsenal included chokes, knees, elbows, eye gouges, lacing, and headbutts, tactics that earned him the reputation as one of the dirtiest fighters in history. Despite lacking the power in his punches, Zivic made up for it with his defensive prowess and ability to exploit the system. He famously defeated Henry Armstrong in 1940 to claim the welterweight title, a victory that showcased his strategic approach to the sport. Zivic's philosophy was simple. Boxing was just another name for a fight, and he was willing to do whatever it took to win. One of his most notable victories came in 1943 when he edged out Jake LaMotta via a split decision. Zivic's tactics were always part of his game plan, and he never seemed bothered by the criticism he received from other boxers. In his mind, the end justified the means, and his success in the ring was proof that his methods worked. Zivic's legacy is complex, marked by both his achievements in the ring and the controversy surrounding his tactics. He remains a fascinating figure in boxing history, a reminder of the sport's darker side and the lengths to which some fighters will go to achieve victory. Harry Greb. Harry Greb, known as the Pittsburgh Windmill, was a master of the ring, but his success was often tainted by his willingness to bend the rules. Greb's fighting style was a whirlwind of punches, thrown in rapid succession, with a few illegal shots cleverly mixed in. He was so adept at this tactic that referees rarely penalized him, as it became an expected part of his aggressive approach. Greb was not just a skilled fighter, he was also a master of intimidation. When referees attempted to break up clinches, Greb would glare and shout at them, daring them to intervene further. He loved clinching, not just for its strategic value but also because it provided the perfect cover for his dirty tactics. From this close range, Greb could use his laces, headbutts, thumbs, and elbows to wear down his opponents, often leaving them battered and bewildered. Despite his questionable methods, Greb remains one of the greatest middleweights in boxing history, known for his relentless energy and ability to outmaneuver even the toughest opponents.